Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to try and cut through some of the noise, figure out what really makes life richer. Ever feel that constant buzz of modern life? Always running, always striving for something. Maybe it's a career goal or the newest phone or just what everyone else seems to think is important. But it makes you wonder, right? Are we actually chasing things that matter? Or just shadows, things that look good but ultimately aren't really substantial?
That's a huge question, and it really hits home for a lot of people. It's exactly what we're digging into today. Our research points to something, a bit surprising, maybe even shocking, about what we spend our lives pursuing. A lot of the goals society pushes on us, they can be, frankly, an illusion. You finally grab hold of them, and you're left feeling kind of empty-handed, unfulfilled even. It's a subtle trap, really easy to fall into.
Exactly. And that's what this deep dive is all about. We want to unpack that difference, spot the hidden traps in modern life versus finding those maybe less obvious keys to a life that actually feels meaningful. We've looked at a lot of material, and we think there are some real aha moments here, things to help you figure out where your energy, your focus is best spent. Okay, let's dive right in then. Let's start with some of these things we're often, conditioned to chase, things that might actually be draining us. First up, this constant chase for the job. I mean, think about it. From when we're kids, right? Get good grades, get into a good college, land that good job. Parents push for it. We chase the grades, the internships, all aiming for this idea of security.
It's a powerful story, isn't it?
Yeah.
Deeply ingrained. But the ugly truth our sources highlight, that good job often isn't security at all. It's more like dependency.
Dependency. How so?
Well, think about it. Companies can restructure, downsize, literally overnight. And then there's automation. AI.
Yeah.
That's not science fiction anymore. It's happening now. It's changing industries so fast. Even those safe government jobs, they're becoming more vulnerable than people think. So if your main goal is chasing a specific job, you're basically a servant of circumstances. You're putting your fate in someone else's hands.
Wow. A servant of circumstances. That's stark. So, okay, if chasing a job makes us dependent, what's the answer? We can't just all quit, right?
No, not at all. That's not the point. The insight isn't about not working, it's about shifting your focus. Instead of chasing a job title, the material strongly suggests chasing skills. Chase purpose. Chase the ability to actually create value.
Skills, purpose, creating value.
Yeah, think about it. Skills go with you wherever you go. Purpose keeps you driven. And creating value, that's what makes you truly needed. Focus on building those and, kind of paradoxically, the opportunity, the right jobs, they start chasing you. You become attractive to the right situations.
That's a really interesting way to flip it, from being the seeker to being sought after. Okay, that makes sense for jobs. What about something maybe a bit more personal, like external validation? Which brings us to the next point.
Yeah.
Don't chase compliments. We all like praise, obviously. But now, with social media, you get 500 likes, you feel amazing, the next post gets 50, suddenly you feel like a failure. Are we really living for the approval of strangers online? It feels addictive.
It is addictive, very seductive. Our sources use this great analogy. Chasing compliments is like drinking salt water. It never quenches your thirst.
Ooh, I like that.
Right.
Yeah.
The more you get, the thirstier, the emptier you feel. It just drives you to want more and more. And if your whole sense of self, your identity is built on what other people think, you basically become, as one source put it, a puppet controlled by the applause of others.
A puppet, constantly looking for those strings to be pulled. So if compliments are salt water, what's the fresh water? How do we escape that?
It comes down to cultivating self-respect.
Oh.
And that's not arrogance. It's an internal anchor, believing in your own value based on living authentically, doing the right thing, even when no one is watching.
Mm-hmm.
Self-respect doesn't need likes or applause. It's built from integrity, from your actions matching your values. It's just a much, much stronger foundation.
A stronger foundation. Yeah, that resonates. And speaking of external things influencing us, this next one feels huge, especially today. Don't chase being someone else. Social media is like this giant showroom of fake lives, isn't it? People copying celebrities, influencers, even just their friends or colleagues who seem more successful, copying their style, their career path, their holidays. Why is that so dangerous?
It's incredibly dangerous for your own fulfillment. Our analysis is pretty blunt here. Imitation is the death of originality.
The death of originality.
Wow. Think about it. The world doesn't need another Elon Musk or, another Virat Kohli, another Oprah. We already have them. What the world needs, what it's missing, is the original you, your unique perspective, your unique talents. Trying to be someone else. It's exactly like wearing shoes that don't fit. They will always hurt. You're never comfortable, never really you.
Huh. I think we've all worn those ill-fitting shoes metaphorically at some point. It really does hurt. But why is it so hard? Why don't we just embrace our uniqueness? What stops us?
Fear, mostly. Fear of judgment, fear of not fitting in, maybe fear of failing if we actually try our own thing. But the real insight here is that your greatest power, your true contribution, comes from finding what makes you unique and leaning into it fearlessly. That's where the magic happens. Real innovation, real connection, real fulfillment.
Embrace the uniqueness. Okay, so if shortcuts, as the source says, cut short your destiny, that's quite a line. How do we embrace that longer road? It sounds, well, harder.
It is harder initially, but it's about shifting your mindset. It's about patience. Understanding that deep skill, true understanding, it emerges over time with consistent practice. It's about finding some joy in the process itself, not just dreaming about the destination. So instead of the quick fix, the sources say, chase the long road, embrace the hard work, value the repetition, be patient, because depth, resilience, real mastery, they're built layer by layer, not through some clever hack.
That's a really crucial reminder in today's world. Okay, one last trap in this section. Let's talk about influence. Influence feels like the new gold standard, doesn't it? Followers, subscribers, likes, going viral. Seems like everyone wants to be an influencer.
It's definitely a major aspiration for many, but here's a critical caution from our deep dive. Influence without integrity is poison.
Poison. Strong word.
It is. But think, what good are millions of followers if you feel lost? If you feel empty inside, or like you have to pretend to be someone you're not to keep them? History remembers impact, not just fleeting influence. Look at, say, Jesus, Buddha, Gandhi, Mother Teresa, even inventors like Nikola Tesla. Did they chase followers? No. They chased truth. They chased service. They chased big ideas. Their influence was a byproduct of their purpose. And that's why it lasts. It resonates long after they're gone.
Influence is a consequence, not the primary goal. That's a big shift in perspective, but can you have both? Influence and integrity? Or is it an either?
Oh, absolutely. You can have both. The key is your motivation, your why. If your main goal is just racking up numbers, yeah, you might compromise your values to stay popular. But if you focus on providing real value, sharing authentic insights, serving a cause you believe in, then influence might come naturally. And it'll be built on respect, on trust. As one source put it, chasing influence makes you shallow. Living with purpose makes you unforgettable.
Wow. Okay. We've really unpacked some common pursuits there. Jobs, compliments, imitation, shortcuts, influence, and seen how they can actually be traps. So, where does that leave us? If those are the things to stop chasing, what should we be running after? What are these hidden keys to a life that actually feels meaningful?
Right. This is where it gets really interesting. The first key is maybe a bit paradoxical at first glance.
Yeah.
It's chase ways to help and promote others.
Help others. How does that work? Isn't life about looking out for number one?
That's what we often hear, yeah.
Yeah.
But the sources suggest something profound. The more you focus on yourself, the emptier you often feel. Seems counterintuitive, Gracie. The more you focus on others, the fuller your life mysteriously becomes.
Huh. Okay. I can see that helping people builds connections, maybe trust. The sources mentioned invisible blessings.
Exactly. It's not just about feeling good, though that's part of it. It's powerful. You build networks. You build goodwill, reciprocity. And here's a really fascinating point. Think about many admired billionaires, founders of, say, Amazon, Tesla, Apple. How did they get wealthy?
By selling things people wanted, I guess.
By serving millions, even billions of people, providing something of value on a massive scale. Same for great doctors, dedicated teachers, innovators. Their success comes from service. So this suggests service isn't just, a nice thing to do. It might actually be the true path to abundance.
Service as the path to abundance. That completely reframes success. It's about contribution. So the takeaway is when you lift others, you kind of rise with them.
Precisely.
Okay, building on that feeling of fullness. The next key is chase work that brings you joy. It's honestly heartbreaking to think how many people spend 30, 40 years in jobs they hate, just grinding it out for the paycheck. They sacrifice their daily happiness, maybe their health, and then retire feeling regretful.
It's a tragic and sadly common story, but there's a beautiful alternative presented in our sources. Work that brings joy doesn't feel like work. It feels like life.
Doesn't feel like work, feels like life. Explain that.
Think of a painter lost in their canvas, totally absorbed. Or a writer who looks up and realizes hours have passed. Or an entrepreneur who's buzzing with excitement about their project, staying up late not because they have to, but because they want to. That state of flow, that deep engagement, that's the real reward.
So it's less about the salary and more about that internal feeling. Is joy really the paycheck then? We still need to pay rent.
Absolutely. Money
Yeah.
pays the bills. That's essential, no question. But joy, as the material puts it, pays your soul. When your work taps into your passion, it energizes you instead of draining you. It nourishes you. Doesn't mean every single second is fun, but the overall feeling is satisfaction, purpose, feeling truly alive. And that spills into everything else.
Paying your soul. I like that. And often what pays our soul even more than work is connection, right? Which leads to the next key. Chase quality time with loved ones. It always hits me when you hear stories, like the one often told about Steve Jobs, immense success, but reportedly regretting not prioritizing relationships more towards the end.
It's a very potent reminder. We act like time is infinite, but every second is ticking away. Kids grow up startlingly fast. Parents get older. Friendships fade if you don't tend to them. If you spend your whole life just chasing money or status, and you neglect the people who matter most, you can end up, as one source warned, rich, but emotionally bankrupt.
Emotionally bankrupt. Ouch.
Yeah, the simple truth is, a dinner with family, laughter with friends, or holding hands with someone you love is worth more than all the wealth in the world. We know this deep down.
We do know it, but life gets busy. How do we actually do it? Prioritize that time.
It has to be intentional, conscious, really internalizing that memories outlast money helps shift your priorities. It means literally blocking out time in your calendar, being fully present when you were with them, putting the phone away. See it as an investment in your own happiness and theirs, not as something that takes away from your important work. Be there.
Be there. Simple but powerful. Okay, and linking back to what we said about shortcuts, the next key flips that idea. It's chase opportunities to learn and grow. Actively seek them out.
Yes. Don't just avoid shortcuts. Actively embrace the opposite. Because here's another stark truth from the deep dive. Stagnation is death in disguise.
Death in disguise. Wow.
Think about it. People who stop learning, stop being curious, stop challenging themselves, they often start to kind of wither spiritually long before their bodies give out. But people who keep chasing growth, who stay curious, they seem to stay younger in spirit, almost indefinitely. And here's the mindset shift. Every challenge, every failure, every setback you encounter, it's not just a problem, it's secretly an opportunity to grow. Your best teacher, often.
Viewing challenges as secret opportunities, that changes things. For someone listening who feels maybe a bit stuck right now, what's a small step they could take to start chasing growth again?
Oh, start really small. Read an article on something totally new. Listen to a podcast outside your usual interests. Learn one new thing each day. Cultivate what they call a beginner's mind. Be curious. Be okay with not knowing. Embracing that continuous learning, that growth mindset, it builds resilience, adaptability. It makes you so much more powerful in navigating life.
Great practical advice. Okay, finally, the last key. And this one might seem maybe less obvious, but incredibly powerful. Chase chances to show gratitude. We hear about gratitude journals and things, but is it really that impactful? The sources seem to suggest it has real scientific backing.
It absolutely does. The science is actually quite solid now. Grateful people tend to be physically healthier, mentally happier, and they even live longer, statistically. What gratitude does is it fundamentally shifts your focus. Instead of obsessing over what's wrong or what you lack, you start noticing what's right, what you do have. It turns ordinary moments into blessings. A simple meal feels like a feast. A sunny day feels like a gift. And here's the really mind-blowing part our sources highlight. Gratitude attracts more to be grateful for. It's like practical magic. It seems to actually multiply the good things in your life. Creates this positive upward spiral.
Practical magic. I love that. So it's more than just feeling nice. It's like an active tool. What's a super simple way someone could start practicing this today?
The classic, and it works, is the gratitude journal. Just before bed, maybe. Write down 3 specific things from your day you're grateful for. Doesn't have to be huge. A good cup of coffee. A kind word, someone said. Finishing a task. Anything. Doing that consistently literally rewires your brain to look for the positive. It changes your inner world, and often your outer world follows.
What a journey we've taken in this deep dive. From those subtle, often damaging shadows we chase the jobs, the likes, the imitation, to these deeper, invisible treasures. Helping others, finding joy in work, cherishing loved ones, always growing and practicing gratitude. It really underscores how short life is, doesn't it? Our time is so limited. If we're not careful, we can spend it all chasing things that just don't deliver in the end.
Exactly. And that leads to the final, maybe most important, reflection. When people reach the very end of their lives, what do they truly regret? Our sources are clear on this. It's almost never about wishing they'd gotten one more promotion or had more Instagram followers or a bigger house. The deep regrets are almost always about relationships, not spending enough time with loved ones, about joy, not pursuing work or activities that truly lit them up, about growth, not learning more, not facing fears, not becoming more, and about contribution, not giving back enough. The real treasures of life, as we've seen, they're often invisible. But the amazing things, once you start chasing them, everything else tends to just fall into place.
That's such a powerful thought to end on, the invisible treasures. So for you listening right now, here's something to think about. What invisible treasure will you choose to start chasing, maybe more intentionally starting today? And just imagine how focusing on that might shift your whole perspective on what truly matters in your own life.